After 26 years, the ending of Hunter x Hunter has finally been revealed. Not only does this confirm who survives the main story, but we also see Gon's grandchildren. However, that only begins to scratch the surface of what Togashi has revealed, because unfortunately, this ending comes from a heartbreaking place where Togashi has been forced to tell us in case he dies before finishing the manga. Now, don't get too upset though, as this is only a part of the possible ending to Hunter x Hunter, because we know from previous Togashi interviews that he writes his stories with different scenarios in mind, and this is the case with this ending, as Togashi has cooked up scenarios A, B, and C. He says that he ranks these endings based on how satisfied readers will be upon reading it. Scenario A is supposed to be the best ending for the fans according to Togashi, where 50% will be satisfied, 20% dissatisfied, and 30% neutral. This ending will be a very secure one with not many risks or complications. Ending B, on the other hand, will be more divisive, where the fan base will be split similarly around 50-50. However, in his last manga Yu Yu Hakusho, Togashi didn't have much control as he was beholden to the whims of Shonen Jump, which frustrated him. But with Hunter x Hunter, Togashi wants to end it on his terms. This then brings us to ending C, which will be the craziest of them all, as 90% of fans will be dissatisfied with it. So you can expect that Gon, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika won't be having the best of times in this ending.
You can't keep getting away with it!
We all as Hunter x Hunter fans want the best for the boys, right? Like Gon getting his powers back or Kurapika surviving the succession war. Well, fear not, because those of you who have been following our news on animeexplained.com should already know that Togashi has also cooked up Scenario D. This is a version where everyone will be happy, and it goes something like this. Next to a lake, we see a girl named Jin fishing, similar to how we see Gon fishing in the first pages of chapter 1. Suddenly, her fishing rod starts shaking, and just like Gon, she pulls the fish up, screaming excitedly that she got him. She got the Lord of the Lake. This Lake Lord is also the exact same fish Gon caught in chapter 1. Now, with this parallel to Gon, we might assume that she's gonna walk over to her parents and say she wants to leave the island to become a hunter, right? Nope. Jin puts the fish on her shoulders, goes over to her mom, and instead declares that since she has caught the Lake Lord, her mom needs to stop bugging her to become a hunter. The mom, with no tricks left, just like Mito in chapter 1, agrees with Jin to stop pestering her about becoming a hunter. We then learn from the mother while speaking with Jin's father that unlike Gon, who wanted to leave Whale Island to become a hunter, Jin never wants to leave. And her father even agrees with Jin's sentiment, but her mother is dissatisfied by it and hopes Jin's desires will change later on. She wants her daughter to go on similar adventures like Gon. Togashi is trying to represent the reader's feeling to this ending through the mother and father's reaction here. We also find the reason for Jin's mother to be puzzled by this is because Jin is Gon's granddaughter, with her father being Gon's son. The mother then thinks that these two must have gotten Mito and Gon's wife Noko's genes instead of the spirit of a hunter like Gon. Yep, it turns out after his adventures, Gon settled back down in Whale Island by marrying Noko.
Who?
This girl. Y'all don't remember this girl?
Who?
Well, she was the only other child on the island, so Gon didn't have much of a choice. However, another thing revealed here is the conclusion of Gon's journey. Back in the day, a mother would have rarely encouraged their child to become a hunter, just like Mito to Gon, as she was scared for his safety and how lonely a hunter and his family would become. But it seems now in the future, even as a child, Jin is being pushed to take on this profession, like becoming a doctor or an engineer. This would mean that hunters are seen in a much more positive light than before, and maybe it has even gotten easier to become one too, because to be a hunter is just to pursue a purpose at the end of the day. Like, no sane mother would encourage their child to take on such a dangerous profession if its meaning hasn't changed in the decades since Gon took the exam. Perhaps due to the Dark Continent expedition of the Kakin Empire, there's a greater level of prosperity in the known world through the various miracles found there, like the unnamed rock, which can generate electricity when placed underwater, being able to power an entire house for years, or the herb found during the expedition led by the United States of Saherta that can cure all diseases. With successful expeditions and probably a permanent colony being present in the Dark Continent through the new Kakin Empire, the world has entered a new age, where a hunter's desire, like beyond Netero, was the reason for such advancement to the world, making the job of a hunter very sought after. Jin's mom continues talking to her husband, Gon's son, saying that she still has hope that Jin will leave the island someday just like her grandpa, revealing to us that Gon definitely got his Nen back, because in the latest chapter of the story, Gon is only known by the immediate hunter circles. So to gain this notoriety his daughter-in-law is speaking of, he must have gone on even more adventures after getting his Nen back. Furthermore, Jin, although away from her parents, overheard this conversation and responded that she will never leave. The father, amused, tells her that she has a sharp eye, further hinting at the fact that Jin and 12-year-old Gon had similar attributes and strengths, as she too was able to catch the Lord of the Sea at a young age through her heightened senses. Jin has the strength to become a hunter, however, she hasn't found a purpose to leave the island currently. It's possible Togashi is using Jin as sort of what Gon might have done if Kite never met him and told him that he has a father called Jing. That's what sparked Gon's curiosity, and he wanted to leave the island and become a hunter to find his dad. But Jin doesn't have that drive. To find out what drives Gon's granddaughter, we change the scene to the shop where the Lake Lord has been cleanly cut with all the parts separated. Jin thinks to herself while working that her mom doesn't understand that when Gon speaks of his memories about being a hunter, Gon's wife Noko quietly moves away from her seat, as if the fun memories of Gon's hunter life bring pain to her instead. Every time Gon tells his stories, Noko strikes the cutting board forcefully with a knife while exclaiming that she is tired of this, tired of waiting for someone to return after months and years of sadness which has crushed her. This is a reference to Gon having to leave the island all the time for his adventures. Sure, he had a lot of fun times, even saved the world, but the cost to this was his wife Noko's sadness and loneliness without him. That's why when Gon speaks of being a hunter, all Noko can think about is the dinner she had to eat alone or the empty side of the bed. This is the main reason Jin doesn't want to pursue the hunter's life, because she doesn't want to make others wait for her. Jin has seen what the sadness of being a hunter brought to the people close to her due to absence, and she doesn't want to impart that. This is likely the same reason why Gon's son never went after the hunter's life either, and the person Jin doesn't want to wait for walks into the shop. It's a chubby little child who is holding a plant, likely some herbs to cook the Lake Lord with while they feed it to the whole island. Jin then says that he always wants to be together with this person. She never wants to make them wait for her and bring them sadness because that is the most important thing to her. The child agrees with her too, as they both cook the food together with smiles on their faces. Togashi, with this laid-back approach to life by Gon's granddaughter, is trying to show that to lead a good life, you don't have to be a hunter. Someone who just wants to hunt happiness together with their family is just as big of a hunter as someone who wants to go to the Dark Continent to catch immortal diseases. This ending is kind of like Togashi's own feelings, where in the last series, Yu Yu Hakusho, he was very tired by the end. He says that he had exhausted everything the characters had to offer, so it wasn't as fun anymore. Maybe by the end, he will have exhausted everything about the world of Hunter x Hunter. As we all know, the world itself is a character in this story. So even with a fresh new generation of characters, the story just wouldn't be the same anymore. Hence, the decision for Gon's granddaughter to not pursue the life of a hunter to uncover more about Lake Mobius. Finally, as Jin cooks the Lord of the Lake, a bird flies away from the island, giving us a montage of a few characters. Togashi hints at them being the son of one, the daughter of another, and grandchild of some other, who live in different places and are all exchanging smiles on screen. These children are very likely to be the offspring of the characters we know. The only possible combination of the three would of course be Leorio, Kurapika, and Killua, the other three protagonists of Hunter x Hunter. This hint basically confirms that Kurapika and Leorio will live through the Succession War and even survive the Dark Continent to lead fulfilling lives. And then the final panel is Gon Freaks as an old grandpa watching all of this unfold in front of his eyes. You know, that's a pretty sweet ending. Like, Togashi does say that this ending he did scrap, but just from this ending, we can very much extrapolate where Togashi's mind is going for the end of Hunter x Hunter. This is a very good closure for the story, and I hope the ending of Togashi does choose, hopefully he chooses ending C because that's his favorite. When he chooses that, it'll actually be like a wholesome ending where all the knots are tied together and we see the next generation descending. But if you guys want to know about the past of Hunter x Hunter, then check out the video on screen right now, where we learn about Gon's great ancestor Dawn Freaks and the Dark Continent.